I mean, every day there's something new going on with Australia where they continue to just double down on their full-blown authoritarianism. And it can be scary. It can be scary for the people that live in those areas, and it can certainly be scary for people that think that those policies are going to make it in other places, right? Let's listen just real quick. Let's go ahead and get started. What the hell's going on here? There's a bunch of different topics I want to go through with Australia. I figured I'd do it all for one video. Let's look at this and what the Australian federal government's talking about.
A radical plan to crack down on social media abuse is being considered by the federal government. For more, Nine's Oliver Haig joins us live in Adelaide. Ollie, how will it work?
Layla, good morning. Essentially, it will work the same as a passport. Australians forced to submit 100 points of identification, like their driver's licence or passport, when using social media accounts like Facebook and Twitter. Now, police would have access to those social media accounts, and it's all part of a crackdown on online abuse. Now, users could be liable for defamation suits or even criminal prosecution, and it's all part of a plan hoping to deter people from engaging in bad behaviour. Now, the recommendations were handed down by a federal parliamentary inquiry. They're reforms that are being considered by the Morrison government, with the chairman saying there is merit to remove the veil of being anonymous. Layla?
So basically they're using the passport, right? This is why we talk about what's next. You have to have the ability to see beyond what's directly in fucking front of you, right? The vaccine passport thing should have scared the fucking hell out of a lot of people. Not just for what it was, just for what that could have been an excuse to do other things into the future. So now the Australian federal government is basically, let's call it what it is. It's a social credit system. It's a social credit system. And it acts similar to like they're doing with the vaccine passport. They're trying to remove, guys that, and I know Annans can be a little annoying at times, but what the fuck? Social media abuse is what they call it. They want to combat online abuse. Passport was just to kind of roll that out. And now it's going to be an excuse to do other things. In Australia, much like the emergency powers that they're granted, you think they done with this shit after COVID-19? You've shown them that all they had to do is say, well, it's emergency, and they'll do whatever it is that we need them to do. You think this stops here? What you think? Wait till the climate change is back on the menu. You have to see beyond. This is why at the beginning of the pandemic here, you can go look at my videos. I was obviously one of the ones that was screaming at the top of my fucking lungs. It's not going to be just 2 weeks. It's not. This 2 weeks is slow to spread. You do not give them an inch, man. You don't do it. One thing leads into another, leads into another. What else is Australia doing? Let's go back to what they're doing on the COVIDs stuff. Covered by Fake News Network, a.k.a. CNN. And they are, as to be mentioned here, why is this? Yeah, get this shit off there. COVID-19. Hey, move this. Can't even read the damn title. It says COVID-19 cases rise in Australian state of Victoria despite lengthy lockdown. So the lockdowns ain't working. The Australian state of Victoria has extended its lockdown for another 3 weeks after tough restrictions failed to lower the number of daily new cases. They don't work. How many examples do they need, guys? Lockdowns don't work. They don't. The places where you thought they worked, such as here and New Zealand, well, look at what they're dealing with right now, right? Australia had to abandon that whole COVID zero shit. It doesn't work. You see in pockets in America, all these different states, where there's like virtually no difference between the lockdown states in their cases and the non-lockdown states in their cases. It doesn't work. Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews says restrictions will only ease when 70% of eligible residents receive their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. These guys are classic abusers again. You do what it is that I say, and then we'll let you have your freedom back. Why are you making me do this? That's expected to happen around September 23rd. So far, 56% of people age 16 have received their first dose. What we must do to suppress case numbers sufficiently is to buy us some time to get people vaccinated. We're in a difficult time, a challenging time over these coming weeks. So Victoria recorded 120 new cases. They're doing all of this for the 120 fucking new cases. Up from 76 on Tuesday. So they have all these lockdowns and they still have a record number of cases. Let's see what else is going on in Australia. It's covered by the Atlantic. Listen to this. This is going to freak y'all out. Interstate travel within Australia is also severely restricted. And the government of South Australia, one of the country's 6 states, developed it and is now testing an app as Orwellian as any in the free world to enforce its quarantine rules. People in South Australia will be forced to download an app that combines facial recognition and geolocation. The state will text them at random times, and thereafter they will have 15 minutes to take a picture of their face. What the fuck? Take a picture of their face in the location where they're supposed to be. Should they fail, the local police department will be sent to follow up in person. We don't tell them how often or when on a random basis. They just have to reply within 15 minutes, says Stephen Marshall. I think every South Australian should feel pretty proud that we are the national pilot for home-based quarantine app. These guys are psychopathic, totalitarian pieces of fucking trash. Australia, you're fucked, man. Like, that's just to break that down for people that kind of flew over everybody's heads, that segment may have. The government, the Australian government, is developing an app in which they, of course, the police have, like the previous deal that we talked about with Instagram and social media and all of that. The police have access to your social media. They have access to you as well, your private information. So this is the idea, okay? Random. You'll never know. Whether it be you're supposed to be locked down in your house, curfew or something like that. Hey, you got 15 minutes. Where the fuck are you at? And if you take a picture that is at the wrong location or you don't send it, the police coming to fucking get you. All of this for a virus with a 99% survival rate. Guys. This doesn't end and will continue to accelerate until the people in the geographical area decide, until these guys go fuck themselves, period. These guys have lost their minds. They are drunk on the power. They are drunk on the control, and they have no desire to give it up. Now, Australia's in a little bit of a funky situation. They ain't strapped. Now, obviously, something like that being enforced, and maybe New York City makes a little sense. South Texas, West Texas, North Texas, I don't know. Maybe not so much, right? Alabama, probably not gonna work out. Other pockets of the South, probably not gonna work out, right? You're gonna guarantee bloodshed because it's gonna be a lot of motherfuckers gonna be like, yeah, come on with it. I ain't giving you shit. They'll look at that message sent to them by the government, and they'll be like, hell, I tell you where I'm at right now. It ain't where you told me to be, but I'll tell you where I'm at right now. And if you want to fuck around and find out, come on with it. Nonetheless, this is what happens when you give these guys an inch. This was sold under the idea, a moronic one. We never did this for any other similar respiratory illness or viruses, epidemics, pandemics. We never did that. SARS, H1N1, like I said, with swine flu, Ebola. We never did any of this. Out of nowhere, you get something that has a 99% survival rate, and all of what happened in the past went out the fucking window. And now all of a sudden you got to have no cases. Everybody's doing this mass form of testing. Could you imagine if you just tested for other viruses in mass like you do for COVIDs? A virus so deadly that half the time you don't even know if you fucking got it, right? You got freaking people out. People going to the hospital for fucking having the sniffles and shit. Like, none of this makes sense. But it was sold under the idea that they were going to protect you. And they were trying to protect other people. So they needed to use their emergency powers that were invested in them to do what they're doing. And we're a year and a half removed from this. And it's just getting crazier. It's almost like 2 days or 2 weeks to slow the spread was a goddamn sham. But hey, there's a black guy with a beard on YouTube that told you fucking that shit. You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.